It has finally quit raining in the mountains of southern Appalachia. I think it's scheduled to come back some next week, but for today there's not supposed to be any rain. So Matt and I are out and about early this morning. You can probably hear him. He's already started weed eating. Our grass is way too long, but it's been raining so much we've not been able to mow or weed eat. So we're going to get that tackled. And then we're going to try to put up all of our tomatoes. All this rain, attach them to the cattle panel, I should say. When I say put up, I mean because a lot of them are laying on the ground. We need to put them back up. The rain has been amazing for the garden. Things have just grown by leaps and bounds. Some of our tomatoes are waist high now. Many of our tomatoes are waist high, and a lot of them in the wind and the rain have just blown over and are laying on the ground. So we've got to get those up. There's other things that need to be done too, but we'll be doing good if we get the yard mowed and weed eated, everything straightened back up, and get those tomatoes attached where they should be. Matt's just finishing up, but look, we have our first little squash. Look at that, and lots of blooms. I don't see anything in here, but there are some blooms. I think this was the zucchini, and the other one was the squash. Our tomatoes are really looking good. It's got a lot of blooms on it. I don't see any tomatoes yet, but you can see what's happening is they're falling over. And I broke that one trying to put it back up. So, I don't know what we'll do with it. Almost makes you want to tape it. Try some tape. I could wrap something around it. I guess I broke the big stem trying to push it up. I see lots of blooms, but no little tomatoes yet on these. Won't be long though. See, those are just flopped over. There's some more down there. It's just flopped over. This is our Randy Hoopers, and you can see they've got so tall. They're the ones that was about waist high that they've just fallen over and started growing on the ground. See how tall this one is. It's not fallen yet. I see some blooms on them too. Well, Matt got cleaned out around the raised beds on the bank. That was a job, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And I pulled up all the blackberry briars that was growing up through them, up through the middle of them, especially in our garlic. That looks way better.
Yeah, it does.
Some of our garlic is already starting to develop the scapes. So it won't be long we'll be harvesting garlic, I guess. If we used everything from last year, we still got a few left.
There's a little bit left, but some of it's kind of got moldy and soft on the porch.
We should try to process it somehow, which what we do works good, but I've never made like minced garlic or anything like that. Or
I have, just in little bitty batches out of that very same stuff. But we need to do a bunch of it that way so we can keep it.
I've seen people that go ahead and chop it up and do, I don't know, I can't remember if they add any kind of oil to it or not, but then they just freeze it like in ice cube trays and then pop those out, and then you've got it's already ready when you're going to make whatever it is you're going to make.
Cool.
We eat a lot of garlic.
Mm-hmm.
We like it, all of us do.
I'd like to have a garlic popsicle.
Would you?
Mm-hmm.
How does your face stay so clean? And mine's all dirty from weed eating.
I don't know.
Weed eating in the wet grass is one thing. It just gets everywhere, as you can see. But Matt and I don't care to do it when it's wet.
I don't care if it's wet or not. I care whether it's cool or hot. If it's cool, that's when I want to do it.
And today we were super lucky because it was 51 degrees when we got up.
Yeah.
51 degrees.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, that's crazy. We'll take it. And right now it feels really good still. It's cool. There's no humidity.
A little.
Not much. Not compared to usual. A little breeze going. Okay, on to our next chore, the tomatoes. Blackberries up here are just beginning to turn. Looks like there's going to be a lot of them, which is great. You can thank your daughter for starting that. The wild apricot, passion flower, it spreads. Once you have it, you have it.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of, here's your daughter.
It's down. It's in this bed now?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to start with this bed. When it comes to how you do your tomatoes, there's so many different ways. This is just how me and Matt have found over the years works good for us. We used to tie them up with seagrass. What was that called, Matt? Seagrass string, twine?
Yeah.
But we've used these clips now, and these are ones we used last year. Sometimes you can use them a couple of years before they get too brittle, but we started using them several years back, and we like that. Another thing is just individual preference. It's whether or not you sucker your tomatoes or you keep them trimmed back, like trim some of the lower limbs or stems off of them, or if you trim the suckers that grow in the little armpits of the tomatoes. We try to do that. We start out really good, like today we'll do that and they'll all look really nice, and then time gets away from you, and then as the summer goes on we don't do it as often. But we try to do that just to let all of the plants' energy go into producing the tomatoes, but also because we do live in such a humid place, just to help airflow, help airflow. But there's no wrong way. It's just whatever works for you. Matt's daddy, Papa Tony, he says when he was a boy they grew tomatoes and they just let them grow on the ground. They didn't even stake them up. Daddy staked his, used like the Florida weave to keep them, like weaving stuff around them. Maybe if he'd had this many, like 4 at a time, and put stakes on each end and then do twine around them to hold them up. But to my knowledge, he never ever pruned them at all. Never that I remember. You don't remember Daddy doing that, do you, Matt?
No.
And he had tomatoes. I don't think he grew tomatoes like we do, but then again, he didn't plant this many plants.
Right.
So, what was some of the ones he liked to grow? Better Boy,
Yeah, he liked the better boys.
Better Boys, Early Girl, or something like that.
Now, if he'd ever had one of these Cherokee purples, he'd have liked it.
Yeah, if he would have, and he might have eaten. I can't remember how
He never did grow any.
we've been growing them for so long now. I can't really remember if I'm sure he. I mean, we probably were already growing them in 2016, so he probably at least got to taste them. But of course, by then he was on his way out with the gardening too. So, I guess I better help Matt and quit talking.
I'm not myself when I'm hungry.
Huh?
I'm not myself when I'm hungry. I get Snickers.
You got to. You hangry?
I don't get fed much around here, so I get hateful.
I think somebody made you a really nice breakfast this morning.
That's broken too.
Huh?
It's broken too.
That's the one I broke.
I didn't know you broke one.
I tried to push it up and I was mowing and I broke it. My fault.
We'll consult with the HOA to see what form of punishment you're going to get.
Look very good. One bed down, 2 more to go. Well, 1 bed to go and 1 row to go. A lot of those down there, the Randy Hoopers are laying on the ground. Those are the ones you said grew so fast.
Yeah.
So I thought about trying to duct tape that I broke. Reckon that would work.
No. We did, and I thought it was done for and gone, but I dug around in there and found a sprig still hooked in the ground. It's that long. It's got the big green leaves on it, so I just made sure I was real careful around it.
Good.
I think your daddy, looking back, your daddy done the same thing with me. Because he did know way yonder more about a whole lot of stuff than I did, and he would just show up to talk, but to keep an eye on what I was doing at the same time. I didn't really realize it then, but I do now.
Looks a lot better.
I do good work.
You do good work. You're a good hand. Good hand to have around.
Yeah.
The breeze feels good, don't it?
Mighty nice.
This plum fell over. Granny's garden's just continuing to look great. It's the prettiest it's been, ain't it, Matt, in a long time. The big garden's looking good. You can see, I don't know if it shows on the camera, but you can see the corn from here. You can see the second planting of corn coming up. It's really great. Here's a closer view of the corn. It's growing good. Could do with some real sunshine, but hopefully we'll have that next week.
Supposed to have.
Our little row of peanut beans is looking better just because it's getting larger. Gets faint out there towards the end, but we planted some, replanted some out through there, so hopefully those will come up. And our potatoes, a lot of them are blooming. They have really grew. And here's some of the beans coming out up, the ones we replanted out here. So we wandered up to Corey's to look at how her things are doing. She was out here working in the yard. She's already got little tomatoes. Look at that. Over here's some more. You see right there? She's already got tomatoes. There's another little one. Our tomatoes are looking good. She's got some little peppers too. Everything she's got's looking really good. Really looks better than mine and Matt's, truthfully. She's got some flowers and some herbs and different things in these grow bags. Aren't those pretty? Her potatoes look great. She planted some potatoes in this big container that she had she wasn't doing nothing with, and they've turned out real good. She's got some beans. And then a lot of bush beans right here. They look great. Her cabbage looks real good too back there. And peppers on this end are doing good. And her first poppy's about to bloom. Just opening up. She's got several here. I seen one of ours up at the house. Looks about like that. But isn't it lovely?
I'll just speed this along. I've got a 2 o'clock.
What kind of 2 o'clock?
I gotta meet with my personal trainer.
You ain't got a personal trainer.
How do you know?
Because I know. Because I keep our books.
We have books.
I have a checkbook.
Maybe it's free.
They generally are not free.
This one is.
I thought that was your personal trainer this morning when you was mowing and weeding.
Natasha likes me. She don't charge.
Y'all see what I got to put up with all the time?
That's what makes being married to me fun.
Matt likes to tease. The yard looks so much better. It's almost too cool for a popsicle, though. I had to put my jacket back on.
I was getting scared they was going to have to come here and film a episode of Abandon if we didn't get it mowed.
Yeah, or one of those where they, you know, you've not mowed in a long time and they mow for you. It was looking pretty bad, but it was all the rain. Rain, rain, rain. And it's made things grow so much.
Yep.
Including the grass and the weeds and the stuff you don't want to grow, but then it's also been really, really good for the gardens.
Mm-hmm.
So, and after last year's dry weather, we sure can't complain.
No.
Of course, things could change. We could turn off dry and it could stay dry, but I hope not. That wind is just cool.
It's nice.
It's just chilly. Chilly.
Let me build you a fire.
Mm-hmm. See the trees.
Yep.
It's amazing to watch them blow back and forth when they're fully clothed out, fully got their summer garments on.
You gotta be strong. I don't know how they keep from breaking.
That's exactly what I was about to say. When a thunderstorm comes up, blows up a cloud, as they'd say, and they really whip, you wonder, how do they stand up like that? How do they stand up with all that?
Some of them don't.
Well, that's true. Some of them don't.
I've been waiting for 15 or 20 years probably by now for a big pine snag up here that's been dead for so many years to fall. My trail goes right beside it at the foot of it, and I'm always a little bit leery going by it or getting around it. But it stood there for at least that long, and it's still there. And even in these big winds, I keep thinking we'll hear it crash from the bedroom one night, but so far it's not ever happened.
Is that one of the ones that was damaged with the beetles?
Yeah, all them years ago.
There's one down the road that's right by the side of the road, and Granny keeps an eye on it. She thinks it's gonna fall, so she keeps watching. Every time we go by, she'll say something about the tree. She wants somebody to come cut it down, you know. But it's right on the state road. And she's always worrying about it and wanting to see if I said, it'll fall one day. Somebody will cut it out of the way.
Yep.
This week we've mostly had, we know there have been bad storms in some areas, but for us it's mostly just been rain. Maybe a little bit of thunder here and there, but mostly just rain.
And a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first day we've been able to get outside all week.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. Really encouraging to go down to the big garden though and see that corn that we planted coming up.
Mm-hmm. Now what you'll see happen is it'll catch that other corn. Probably.
We'll see. Probably. So we ended up waiting, what, 3 weeks in between?
Mm-hmm.
So.
It may not fully catch it, but it'll be close, I think.
A lot of people, when we had, that was our last Sunday night video, when we shared that, a lot of people wanted to know why Matt didn't use the big tractor to do that, why he was tilling up. I guess the main reason is best way you do things is the way you want to do them.
Right.
But for Matt, it was just handy. The tiller was already there. And he likes to use the tiller just like he likes to use the tractor. So, combination of different things.
Yeah, and then them corn rows are close together, and it'd just be hard to get between them. And then the way the garden's laid out, there's stuff at either end of it, and I can't drive through and get out the other end to turn. And it's just a
awkward setup.
It is awkward because there's grapes and a bean trellis on one end, and then a big wood pile and a junk car and a bunch of other junk in the way on the other end. And I can't drive off the garden to turn and make another pass. But I can get in there with that tiller, and it don't take that long. It's not that big a deal. I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of laps in that garden with a tiller through the years, and it don't bother me at all. So that's why I do it. I don't have an implement other than I do have a tiller, and I thought about tilling out in the open out there with it, but I weighed the aggravation of getting that tiller hooked to the tractor and the time that would take. I could have half of that already tilled with the tiller.
So you just did it that way.
Yeah, and I just did it that way, and that helps keep me fit as I age, being able to do that stuff.
Then you don't need Natasha.
No, that's incorrect.
When we were down there, though, we did notice the winter squash that I replanted is coming up good. But the one thing that's kind of still real spotty, even more spotty than the beans, is the okra. So the day we planted it, I forgot all about soaking it the night before. We've been doing that for several years, and that really seems to help. And I didn't do it, but we planted it anyway. So we may have to, Matt said we've got more room on the other side of the beans. We might even just plant another row, and maybe I could soak it, and we'll see. Another thing though is it's not really been warm enough for okra. Okra likes it really warm. So the other ones might come up, but it's pretty pitiful so far.
We could plant another row, and if they all come up, we have a whole bunch.
That's true. Not a whole lot. Okra's something that does good for us usually, and usually we have it all the way till frost.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we have it till you kind of get tired of harvesting it and putting it up and all that.
I don't get tired of eating it. I love that stuff.
I know you don't get tired of eating it. The wind has just got a chill to it.
I think your blood's getting thin in your older age.
It may be. This week I was talking about the cooler weather on the blind pig and Acorn, and Papa at Emmons said he wanted to know what little winter this was, the cooler weather. I had to look up the little winners that I'd talked about before, and I said this must be the, what is it called, Lindsay Woolly? I've said this before and got all mixed up, but it must be that one. That's when you've already put up your winter clothes, and then you decide maybe you shouldn't have put them all up. You might need, a jacket or a coat or something. I've never heard that one. I've just read it. I've never heard anybody saying it. Really, the only ones I ever heard about was blackberry and dogwood.
Me too.
Another question we got in a video we had this week was one of the kind of compilation videos that we do. Our goal was, mine and Matt, our life in Appalachia, and we've been doing it a month, like each month, and our goal was that we were going to do one a month, because we didn't hardly get to do any last year just because of all different things going on with babies and Granny being sick and all that. And we've made it so far. So if we get June, we'll be halfway through the year. Anyway, they're really fun to put together, but they're hard because you got to do a little bit all the time, all through the month. And it'll be like 2 weeks in, and me and Matt will be like, we better be doing this. Better get started. Anyway, but in this most recent one of the breakfast scenes that we shared was Matt fixing his plate, and I had made chocolate gravy, and a lot of people wanted to know, what is that black gravy that Matt's putting on his biscuits? What is that? Or that brown gravy? What's he putting on there? That's chocolate gravy. So that's one of the traditional Appalachian foods that you really don't hear about in other places, chocolate gravy. Not to say people in other places don't enjoy it, I'm sure they do, but it's one of the ones that you really hear people in Appalachia talk about when they were children enjoying it. And there's lots of different ways to make it. So my friend Ginger, hers is really, really good, but hers is much more like a, think of something like you would put over top of ice cream or something, like a syrup, like a chocolate syrup. And the one I make, which Mama made, Granny made, and her mother made, Gazzy, it's like a gravy. It's like a thicker, like almost like a, not like pudding, but more akin to pudding than to syrup, right, I would say. And so I grew up eating it with Granny and Pap. Pap and the boys didn't really care for it, but Granny would make it, and me and her would eat it. We both liked it. And she didn't make it all the time, but she would just make it every once in a while. And of course, once I was grown and married, I wanted to know how to make it. I've still got it wrote down where I called Granny and she told me how to make it. But she told me that her Granny Gazzy, her mother, my Granny Gazzy, her mother Gazzy would make it when they were growing up. And she said everybody just loved it and everybody get real excited about it. And she told me one time, she said, looking back, I see that Mother probably made it when there wasn't much else to eat. Like there was no meat to make gravy out of, you know. And we all thought we were getting a treat, but she was probably just trying to stretch what little food we had, you know, with a big family. Anyway, I don't make it all the time, but I make it every once in a while. And when I first met Matt, he had never heard of it. And I like to tell this story about him because it's funny. Back then, he said chocolate gravy was an abomination. You see, all these years later, I've won him over to my side.
And now you see who's eating it.
He's eating it. He likes it. Yeah, he likes it. So I don't know. Did it have to grow on you, or you just had to realize that it was good?
No, it didn't have to grow on me. It had a good taste. I just couldn't get past the idea of, in my narrow little mind, I guess you could say, gravy is one of the things you don't mess with.
I know.
You know, good meat grease gravy is, you don't experiment with that stuff. But I had to give in. I had to decide I liked it, because I did.
Yeah. Some people say their family calls it chocolate sop or just sop. I've heard that. And like I said, so many different ways to make it. Now the way that I make it, which is again from Granny and Granny Gazzy, her mother, is that we just use water. So it really is, if you had cocoa and you had flour and you had sugar in the water, that's all it is. Some people put milk. A lot of people, like I said, Ginger's is more of like that syrup. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
when I was young, I used to go home with a girl from church, and her mother made it, and she made it a lot, it seemed like, and she would leave like the little bowl of it on the, counter after, by the time I'd went home with them after church, it was, breakfast was long since over, and they knew that I would want to eat that. I would want to eat it. Anyway, but lots of different ways. If you've had chocolate gravy, you'll have to tell us how you make it. It's always one of the interesting foods to make when I go places like where I've been at a conference before and they ask me to make something. For one thing, it's easy because it's quick. If you had your biscuits, and like I've even at some places, one place I was at, they provided the biscuits, so all I had to do was stand up there and like on a little hot plate and make the chocolate gravy, and then everybody just got a little taste. You're not feeding everybody. Anyway, so that's good because it's easy. It's easy to show people, like to demonstrate. But then it's neat because there's not many people that's heard of it, and they're like Matt. They're like, chocolate gravy for breakfast? That just don't seem, on biscuits, that just doesn't seem right. Like Matt was. He's converted now. You're a convert, huh?
It's pretty good, and I'll just have to tell you.
I like it. My favorite way to eat it is, of course, with biscuits. Someone said, too, that Matt forgot the butter. I've seen people do that, put butter and then put the chocolate gravy. We never did that, though, so I don't. I might be more likely to do that with Ginger's than with mine. Anyway, so I like it with the biscuits, and I have to crumble my biscuits up. I break them in little pieces. Matt just splits his open. Anyway, so I like it over my biscuits, and then I like it with bacon and an egg. It goes good with sausage or anything else, or by itself, but I really love it with bacon. I guess because of the sweet and the savory. Mm-hmm. And then I want an fried egg with it.
Goes good with side meat too.
Yeah, goes good with side meat. So anyway, it's funny how us humans, how we do that. We get a taste for something and we like what goes with it, Things like Matt likes the soup beans, but he wants side meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, different things like that.
Fried pork chops are good with it too.
Yeah. Or like we were growing up, one of the meals we all looked forward to, we didn't have often, if Daddy and the boys went fishing, was we would have fish, and we always had to have, of course, hush puppies, slaw, and French fries,
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny how we do that.
I'm getting hungry all over again.
I know.
I just had lunch.
I made Matt a good sandwich for his dinner today, and I ate watermelon.
How you make it on watermelon?
Love watermelon, and I've been on a watermelon good streak so far. We still have not planted no watermelons, though. That's really bad. We need to do that, at least one. Need to plant the little one that somebody sent me and see if it does any good. We were going to get sand, and today when I was weed eating, I seen there's a bag of sand behind the greenhouse. I don't know what that was for, but...
That was for the chickens.
Okay. So...
And it's been sitting there a long time.
We could use that and try it.
I was going to build them a sandbox to play in and put them a little set of barbells and dumbbells and stuff in there and a little exercise ring just to keep them preoccupied, but I got busy doing other things and forgot it.
Was you going to let them wear pants too, like some people do?
Spandex chicken pants.
Anyway, what I was saying about the watermelons was I'm on a good streak. When you buy them, you don't know if they're sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. Or even when you grow them, it's the same thing. But I've been on a streak ever since I got the one at Spud Shack, which was really good. Then every one I've had since then has been great watermelon.
I think it was my grandpa said there ain't no need at all on buying a watermelon before July, 4th of July, because they ain't fit to put in your mouth.
I know, but I can't resist it. And I have been buying them and they've been good, so I'm sorry he was wrong on that part. Of course, now with today's speed of travel, the ones I'm eating, of course, are grown way down south where they're way ahead of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
They are.
I don't know. I just love watermelon. I've always loved it, but I love it even more somehow now. My day's not complete unless I eat watermelon. Sometimes I get desperate and buy one in the winter, and they really aren't good then.
No.
And they probably didn't even come from the United States, but I do love them. Miss Cindy, Matt's mama, she liked them like I do. Paul and Granny like them good. Matt just don't care for them much.
I like them all right. It's just not something that is a must-have for me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't hate them, but I don't. You know, occasionally I'll eat some of it, but I don't have to. I don't live my life based around it like some people do.
Like I do. Yeah. You got to put salt on it.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. Yeah.
I don't know. I just really like them. I wish I could grow them like one of those big giant fields. I just go sit down in the middle of it and just start eating.
Yep.
I might get sick of them if I had that many.
You might.
I don't know. I really like them. Ira likes them so far. He can even say watermelon.
Can he?
Mm-hmm. Katie and Corey don't like them like I do either. They like them okay. They're just more like Matt.
They don't like nothing really.
Katie loves cantaloupe. She really likes cantaloupe. I like cantaloupe. You like honeydews?
Yeah.
I never much cared for. I'd rather have watermelon, of course, first, and then second I'd take a cantaloupe. Well, actually, second I'd take the blueberry. Watermelon and blueberries are my favorite.
I'd rather have good cantaloupe as watermelon any day.
I like cantaloupe.
When I was young, even up till I was grown, I wouldn't eat cantaloupe. I didn't like it, but I've grown to like it. As I got older, my taste has changed, I guess.
I actually ate cantaloupe for breakfast this morning.
Did you? Are you against meat now, are you?
No.
You had cantaloupe for breakfast, watermelon for lunch. What are you going to eat for supper?
I think we're going to have leftovers. We're going to have barbecue.
Okay.
Barbecue sandwich with slaw.
Sounds good to me.
Some kind of potatoes. It was good last night, wasn't it?
Gosh, yeah, it was. I ate 2 of them. And then I ever so slightly suffered after that.
You regretted it. I ate 2 and then
Well, I
regretted
had, it might not have been entirely the barbecue's fault, because immediately after the 2 barbecue sandwiches and the big pile of taters and the slaw, it wasn't long after that till I had an ice cream cone, and then it wasn't long after that till I had about 6 or 7 chocolate chip cookies.
Gosh, no wonder. No wonder.
And by bedtime I was laboring.
I bet. I bet so.
Takes a lot of food to keep me going.
I know. You eat like a 14-year-old boy.
I do. I enjoy it. I love to eat. I like to eat good food.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I like to eat more than I ever have in my life, but I still am pretty particular about what I eat.
I like to eat good food, and I like being able to fix good food and grow good food. And that's all kind of goes together in my mind, and maybe that's why I like to eat so much.
Yeah. Well, we sure appreciate you coming along with us today, helping us. You helped us mow the yard and weed eat. Wasn't all that help great?
That's fantastic. It was.
And get our tomatoes situated. It's a good thing we did with this wind. The rest of them would be blowed over. So now that they're upright, maybe they'll start producing. I can't believe Corey's got tomatoes growing and we don't. She's got like about 3 or 4 plants that's got tomatoes on them.
She is ahead of us.
She is for sure this year.
Must be the growing zone must change from here going down to there.
Well, she gets more sunshine. Just for sure, she gets more sunshine.
You know, I never knew until very recently, or not real recently, but within the last 3, 4, 5 years, I never heard of the different growing zones and didn't realize. I mean, I didn't, not as a thing that people talk about, what zone are you in, this zone has a number. I didn't know none of that stuff. I just knew what time of year right here where I'm at it was time to grow something, and that was it. Now apparently it's a really big deal, because everybody talks about it.
It's good for people that don't have that's never done anything, so you have a guideline, because you don't want to plant your squash in February or something, you know, and then know that, like, if we
yours in March.
Well, I did this year, but if you did that in like where we live, then they're for sure going to die if they come up and all that. So it's good for that. But I do think, it's what I was telling Corey, over years, if you have a garden space, over years of fooling with it and growing stuff, then you kind of, like Matt said, you get to where you know your garden. I was explaining that to her. I think I can't remember what it is. It says we are, but I don't think we're that here on the north side of the mountain. And the way you find it is you could just put in your zip code and put growing zone, and it would tell you. But like for me and Matt, I don't agree with that when I do that. I think we're about a 6B, because here on the north side of the mountain, it stays cooler up here longer in the spring, and it gets cooler quicker in the fall because we lose sunshine. So anyway, I think intimate knowledge, once you begin growing, and like Corey was saying, you know, she was asking me questions, I said, well, you just need to keep doing it, and, you know, in another 3 or 4 years, you'll have figured out that part. It just takes time, but there's nothing wrong with investigating and researching and watching videos and reading magazines and books and all that, but there's just nothing like experience either.
That's right.
And I think each little place does just have I've talked about that before, like a little microclimate. Maybe it's even your house shades part of your garden. Ours does, shades part of the garden.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've got like a ridge like we do where the sun goes behind it, especially, you know, later in the summer and into the fall. And then in the winter, there's parts of our yard that the sun doesn't even hit all winter long. So it's just all those little micro things. You might have like a wet weather spring or something so that your place stays damp. So many different little nuances that you just have to learn as a gardener and figure out what works. And it's all a joy if you love it as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. We're really glad that you spent time with us today. We're always glad when you help us celebrate Appalachia. This wind is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cool. It's got airish.
I like it.
Airish.
I got to go make Natasha a sandwich before she gets here.
You shut up about Natasha.
I'm going to get hungry.
She works out all the time. She probably don't eat.
And she eats. She likes fish a lot. But she don't eat it fried because she's
It's bad for
into
you.
health. She
Yeah.
usually baked or smoked or something like that, and no French fries with it. But
I
other
see.
than that,
I see. Or maybe she'll help you weed eat next time.
I don't think she's into weed eating.
All right, what kind of thumbnail you want? If I had some chocolate gravy, I'd be feeding you.
Be dumping it on me.
Yeah.